The journey of Cape Wine 2015 began with excitement upon arrival of the Ghanaian team in Stellenbosch, West Cape Province of South Africa on Friday, September 11, 2015. After an 8-hour sponsored flight in South African Airways and a shuttle drive of 40 minutes, drive to arrive at the luxury accommodation of Live and Leisure Guest House. The media delegation from Ghana is the first ever delegation to participate in Cape Wine event. The team includes Mr. Ernest Boateng of GMA, Amayao Deborah, West Africa's #1 blogger, Isaac Yangson of ETV Ghana, Bernard Ashide of BNFT newspaper, Kweku Obin Ejay and broadcaster at Star FM, and led by Bill Bedzrah of John Williams PR agency in Accra.
We have arrived in Stellenbosch finally after a long trip from Accra to Joburg to Cape Town. How's the trip, Amaya?
Very tiring. As you can see, I've had my shower and going to have some rest and see what tomorrow has.
No, we're going to go on social media and post.
Well, I've started already.
For people to see.
Amaya is a social media freak, so
freak.
No, he is more than.
He's an authority.
Okay. He's an authority on social media, so obviously he's going to start spreading the news. People like us, well, some nice drink will start the night.
Hey, so check out my room. Really lovely place. I like the way everything is well coordinated. Simple space, lovely. I have a little mini bag here. Whatever I want, little snack bag and everything here as well. So lovely, lovely place. I'm loving it. And of course, it's all about Cape wine. So as you can see, our room we've got wine that you can enjoy even before the main thing starts. So yes, let's see what the day has for us tomorrow.
South Africa opened its welcoming doors to over 1,300 guests for the Cape Wine 2015, with exceptional planning, treating the team to a welcome dinner at the prestigious Waterford Wine Estate in Stellenbosch. Wine tasting and traditional South African braille were in abundance as the Ghanaian team were joined by the team from Nigeria and later on Kenya and Angola. Visits to Wine Estate was riveting and exploratory for the entire team, as we were tutored in the different varieties and processes of winemaking by the best in the industry.
The good thing for an African is where you begin. The world should ask us that, because Africa is the beginning of everything. Absolutely. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
The oldest soil, and it's such a privilege we can live here on the continent and make good wine and compete against the French, Italians, the Spanish, the Americans, the Australians, New Zealand.
Yeah.
But winemaking really begins with the soil.
Absolutely.
So you plant your plants and you grow it, but when you bring it to the winery, you bring hand-picked grapes arrive at the winery. The most important thing really in winemaking is to make a selection. The interesting thing is that if you want the flavor to be right, you should never go in the middle of the day to pick some fruit because it's hot and the flavor is never as good as when you pick it early in the morning or at night when it's cool. So when we pick grapes, we make sure we pick them when it's very, very cool.
How long have you been in the wine business?
I've just had my 37th year as a winemaker.
37.
Yeah.
He's been in the family.
And I'm still learning. But I employ winemakers now. My young winemaker was sitting just next to you. Very, very brilliant young guy, 29 years old. Makes super, super wines, which I love. I think he makes better wines than I used to make. But
What's to have a production? What's the quantity?
Your capacity?
it's this winery is for about between 500 and 600 tons. And if you turn that around to bottles, it's between 450,000 and about 550,000 bottles. So about 500,000 bottles.
So per year,
Per year.
you produce 500,000 bottles.
Yeah. So it's considered a small, medium-sized winery in the world context. In South Africa, I suppose it's a medium-sized winery, but in the world context, it's small, medium. So good wine is not about the winemaker or the barrel. Good wine is about the soil and your respect of nature. That makes a good wine, I think. So let's start with the grapes arriving at the winery. They get emptied in this hopper, and the whole bunch comes into this machine. What happens is that it's turning and it's spinning, and the little berries fall through the holes down into the pump, and the stems or the stalks go out that way. So you've got a bunch of grapes. We can all visualize a bunch of grapes arriving, and what we want to do is take the stem away from the grapes, the berries and the juice, because the stem is not something nice, it's bitter, and you don't eat that. So when you eat a bunch of grapes, you just eat the juice and the skin. And that's what happens here. So this is called a crusher. Most wineries you go to have rollers where they actually crush the grapes. We don't crush the grapes. We attach a lot of value to a very soft process of working with grapes. So the bunches come in, the berries fall off, and the whole berry lands on a table, and then we select them. So we don't even crush the grapes. So our berries are round. They go into the tank as a round berry, and after the fermentation, which I said is between 10 and 21 days, when they come out, they're still round. So we don't affect anything that's can give you a bitter taste or a strong taste in the wine. And I think you can pick that up in our wines. Our wines are very soft, very textured, and they're not aggressive. They don't have a strong taste. So the strong taste comes from the skin, which gives you tannin. Strong taste can come from very high alcohol, which we don't have in our wines. And the strong taste can come from a barrel that gives you a strong woody taste. So at Waterford Estate, we try to produce wines as naturally as possible and as soft as possible. And we use this process of not crushing the grapes, and we use the tanks because of gravity. So the whole berries are everything is done by hand, it's not done by machines. You collect all the sediment, all the yeast. When the wine settles, the grape juice is cloudy, so when it all settles down, you end up with a lot of sediment, which is sometimes some of the best flavor in a wine ever. And what we like to do is we bring it into this machine and we filter it through natural diatomaceous earth, which settles on here. It's a vacuum, and the juice flows through here, and when it comes in the inside, it's completely clear, and we can still use that goodness. So yeast, which ferments the grape juice from sugar into alcohol and carbon dioxide, is a very strong flavor component in wine. So we attach a lot of value to that. So this is possibly one of our most mechanized machines in the winery. So instead of losing all of that quality wine and just selling it or removing it from the winery, we actually keep that because that's where the flavor is. And wood, oak barrels have an incredible smell, and you must never put your oak barrels in a room that doesn't have a good smell. Because often you go underground and you go into wineries and it doesn't smell good. So it's very important to put everything above the ground and have a very good hygiene.
So it's climate control. Right?
Climate control. So we have air conditioning. Then we also have in the next room we have humidity also.
So all these have wine in it?
All of these barrels are full. The ones that look like this are for white wine.
Okay.
And the ones that have the red strip are for red wine.
Red wine. Okay.
Because if you put white wine into a red wine barrel, it'll turn to rosé immediately. The color will change. So you cannot make a mistake. You keep your barrels marked for red and the barrels clear for white.
So when are you going to
So
release them?
this is white.
This
is the white.
That's all Chardonnay, 2015
The one marked for
Chardonnay.
red is
It
red.
will be released in 2 years' time. The red ones, almost 4 years before it's released. So it's a long process. The investment in producing great wines is very high. You don't grow it and make it and bottle it and sell it in the same year.
What is the shortest period you can release or can grow?
You can grow grapes and sell them within 3 months, but not your top wines, not quality wines.
So for the
You can drive an entry-level Toyota, or you can drive a Lexus.
Thank you.
You can choose.
I prefer Lexus.
For the benefit of our viewers, when do you date it? Do you date it as of the date of the release or as of the date
Date of
of
the
the
The grapes are always to the vintage.
Okay.
So vintage is when the grapes are picked.
Okay.
It's actually a very interesting question because in the world, a lot of people don't understand why. It's very interesting that 99% of the people in the world don't understand why. So they really have no idea. Some people think grapes are grown and you pick it maybe more than once a year. But the vintage on the barrel has got nothing to do with the wine in the barrel. If you talk about wine, you talk about the year the grapes were picked. In every country, it's the same everywhere in the world.
Okay, so the date on the wine on the barrel.
The date on the barrel is when the barrel was made or arrived here. So we are one of the few people that do that. If you go to other wineries tomorrow, you won't see the vintage on the barrel. I do it because it's important for me.
Oh, okay. So which year?
The barrel arrived in 2007.
Yeah, but then which year did you put the wine?
The wine in here is, you see we have a code here, a barcode. So this will be, this is a blend from 2015.
Remember what Kevin said was that he used the barrels over 10 years.
Yes.
What that in sense means that every time he puts wine in the barrel, it's actually the vintage of that wine in which it was picked, the year in which you picked the grapes.
So I told you we still have old barrels. There's 2004. So it's 11 years old, that barrel, and there's a special wine in there.
How special?
This is a Chenin Blanc, which I started in 2001. So what's that? How old is that?
Oh, that's 14
years.
And like they make sherry, in sherry in Spain, they make in a Solero system. They keep adding the new wine. So this is a little experiment, these 3 barrels, and we keep adding Chenin Blanc to it. And the idea is to taste the flavors and decide what we want to do. But that barrel is all the way back from 2004.
In terms of the color, white, red, is it the choice of grape or it's the way you process it?
So white grape is a white wine.
But you can make white wine from red grapes. That's possible. Pinot Noir produces champagne. So champagne can be pink or it can be white. But most of it's white.
So it's the processing that
The skin gives the color. So you can make a white Cabernet Sauvignon, you can make a white Merlot, but nobody really does that.
Kevin, maybe then explain it. The juice and the actual grape is all white. It's the actual color of the skin that gives the color.
Turn the lights down, and every day this room basically looks like this. We're busy working, emptying the barrels of the older wines and putting the new wines in at the moment. So it's not completely as it should be. But we have, I think, on average 1,000 barrels here. Each barrel is roughly 300 bottles.
Each barrel.
The red wines that you tasted tonight from our company on our table, this whole room is just filled with those wines. So we have Waterford Cabernet Sauvignon, we have Kevin Arnold Shiraz, and we have the Gem. So this room is all just the 3 top wines we make. And that's about 70% of our production. So obviously red is our main focus.
So you take them out, you bring them from outside, and then you put them in here for storage.
The wines come from the stainless steel tanks after fermentation into the barrel. And they spend on average between 1.5 and 2 years here. And then they take them back, and then we bottle the wines. So all red wine spends, on average, you can almost say 2 years, 24 months in barrel, on average. Yeah, the wine arrives back from the barrels through those pipes up in the top there, and this is we rinse the bottles, we fill the bottles, we put corks in our best wines, and we put screw caps in our wines that we want our customers to drink within 5 years.
So there's
We're
a
a very
pipe.
simple philosophy.
There's a pipe
Under
from
5
that
years,
side.
screw cap. Longer than 5 years, cork.
There's a pipe from.
It comes from the tanks, yeah.
Those are the top 5 up there.
Yeah. So here we bottle the wines, and then once they're bottled, we pack them away like this. So that is 2012, yeah. And that is a Cabernet, I think. Shiraz. It's a Shiraz. So it lies like that for maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, before we put it on the machine, and then wash the bottles and label the bottles. So this we only sell in 1 year's time, 2012.
So let me
It's
ask
kept
you,
in a very cool
is there
place.
a difference between keeping the bottle this way versus this way?
Yeah, you can't store wine with a cork like that.
Okay.
With a screw cap, you can stand it like that. Okay. With a cork, it's got to be like that.
Why?
Because longer than 3 months, the cork will dry out. And then you have a problem.
Okay. It disintegrates.
This wine has to be opened maybe 25 years later, and the cork should still be good. So the wines that we produce, you can keep up to 10 years.
Why do you have this space?
That,
Why the hollow space at the
There's
bottom?
this myth. There's this myth that good wines are supposed to have
flat
very
bottom.
hollow underside. Debunk that for us.
not a myth, it's a fact.
It's a fact. Why?
The French, I think it was when they started to produce champagne, because of the pressure in the bottle, they discovered that to make a strong bottle, you have to have inside the glass must be thick. Because if you have a flat bottle, the quality is not good. And that's how it started. It started through champagne to get the strength of the bottle, and then it became a quality thing. The champagne was always quality. And you'll only find the cheapest wines in the world with a flat bottle. The quality wines, quality bottles are always the deeper, the better the quality of the bottle.
Wow.
Now you know.
Can we applause for that?
But there's one bottle in the world that's one of the highest qualities, which is flat. Do you know what it is?
No. Tell us.
It's a champagne.
Oh.
Do you know which one?
Just you said it.
It's Bedzrah, Louis Bedzrah champagne, and it's called Cristal.
Cristal.
It's flat. And
There's
it's
no
one of the
compromise.
best champagnes in the world.
So that's the
It's
exception to the rule.
But it's that thick, the base. So next time you look at the bottle, the base is that thick.
Okay.
It's the only one that has a flat base. And labeling the bottles, it's 10 meters to selling. It's the shortest way to selling. So that's where we sell the wine. So the whole process is to maximize your labor, to maximize the efficiency of your winery. It's designed with the flow. So the grapes arrive, you produce the wines, and right here it's right at the closest point. So 30% of what we make, we sell here. And that's where we sell it.
Well, let's go through a process now. Is that all?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I think it was 7.
There is 3, 2,
2 gins,
2, 2, 1.
2, 1.
2 gins, 2 Vietnamese, and 1 alcohol.
Right. This 2, 2, 1. 5. Yeah, 5. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your forum. This is the owner of this farm. It's an honor to meet him. And he
Good to meet you guys, all the way from
Ghana.
Ghana, yeah,
Yes.
West Africa.
Yes,
But
indeed.
we all live on the most beautiful continent of the world.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank
Appreciate it. Fantastic farm.
Experiencing Sauvignon Blanc, Shiraz, Chardonnays, Merlots, Rosés, and more. Wine tasting is a craft, as many of us discovered. A good palate is required to appreciate the rich and enchanting flavors in the varieties of South Africa. Boasts over 300 wine producers with over 4,000 brands.
You're so easy to love. You're so easy to love.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Martin. I'm from Creation Wines in the Himalayan Outer Ridge, which is close to Hermanus, about 120 kilometers from Cape Town. The Himalayan Outer is regarded as one of the top wine regions in South Africa, and we're very proud to present our wines to the rest of Africa. We feel that there are great opportunities in the market to have our wines presented to the rest of Africa, and we seem to be managing to get into quite a few different African countries now. What we really are good at is producing wines that are great wines to go with food. So where you have a wonderful restaurant, that's where our wines should be.
My name's Simon Turner, and my wife and I are the proud owners of the wonderful Sumeridge wine estate here in the Hemel Valley. Here on the estate, our excellent winemaker Gavin Patterson, who's been with us now for over 10 years, produces a wide variety of single varietal wines and a few premium blends as well. The Valley is particularly renowned for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, but we also produce commercial quantities of Sauvignon Blanc, of Syrah and some Merlot. So we would welcome visitors from Ghana, and if people are interested in discussing the importation of our wines, we'd also be glad to talk to them.
Speaking at the Stellenbosch Experience event, Matomi Martha, Marketing Manager for Africa for WOSA, and Andre Mogathel, the Communications Manager for WOSA, expressed great enthusiasm and confidence in the quality and uniqueness of wines of South Africa.
I think what's different this year is that we've got a lot of very special brands with quality wine at the show. Not only small but big as well. There's a lot of the quality in the last 3 to 5 years has improved so much, and it's showing. Really now with our guests here, I can hear them talking. So we got people that are excited about it, excited about South Africa, and not only now, but in the last few years, we've seen so much excitement in the media about South Africa. So we are the flavor.
The past 4 years, we've worked extensively in positioning brands South Africa in key markets like Angola, Nigeria. But going forward, we're now investing into markets like Accra, Ghana. We are doing work in Nairobi this year. So this is again one of the highlights in terms of the events that we are now doing in the continent. It's good the fact that we've got so much trade also coming in from the continent to come and explore, which means there's a huge interest that's out there that we need to tap into as ones of South Africa.
Mr. Ernest Boateng, an avid wine connoisseur, commended South Africa and their wine industry for their quality and brand value in the competitive global wine market.
I think we all need to take lessons from this, because this, for me, is very, very well organized. And even though the one in Ghana was so well organized as well, and I believe they built it a fantastic job, and as a result, they're going to be coming back next year. They are going to make it an annual event, which is quite an exception, because even in the other places they are not. Even in South Africa they do it every 2 or 3 years, but in Ghana I believe that they want to do it every year. So what I would encourage wine drinkers in Ghana is to support the industry and make sure that they keep investing in resources for the Ghana market.
A visit to the zoo, Biscuit Young and Restless Wine event showcased young and upcoming wine producers with variety and fun wines on showcase. Jean Vandermeer, a Kenyan wine and food blogger, and Nobel Igwe, a Nigerian lifestyle blogger, spoke about the opportunities for the youth to engage in entrepreneurial ventures to be able to live independent and successful lifestyles.
I've seen different winemakers, and has also opened my eyes to the act of winemaking. And it's a lot more interesting to notice that we all are from Africa, but the African soul has been able to position to people to be winemakers, for some people to be cassava makers, for some people to be cocoa makers. But the interesting thing is, I love the fact that some people are content living on the farm, making wine, and exporting their wine to the various parts of the world, and they totally love what they're doing. I hadn't before now paid so much attention to wine, but this trip has really changed my perception about winemaking, drinking wine, paying attention, and trying to get as much details as possible from every glass of wine.
I like the vibrancy, like there's so many people from different parts of the world. So I've met so many people, not only writers, but also people in the wine business, suppliers. So yeah, that has been eye-opening, and I love the view. It's my first time in Cape Town, so even sightseeing has been amazing.
What I like about wine is about tasting, and it's about experience yourself.
Yeah.
One thing is what the winemaker does, but the other thing is what are you experiencing?
Yeah.
Is it pleasant for you? Does it excite you? Are you having fun with it?
Yeah.
And that's it. And the interesting thing is, because you mentioned European wines, because South Africa is kind of a bridge between New World and classical European style of wines, and I think this is what the Germans appreciate. It has got this, this interesting openness of the New World, but it also has got this classiness and this consciousness for quality from Europe. And the wines are quite fresh and lively. You know, you have a nice acidity, you have a nice fruit, the wines are fruit-driven elegance, and this is what Germans like.
Add value to our commodities or products, Noble said. If we grow cassava in our country, let's find a way of adding value to it, he said. Arrival at the Cape Town International Convention Center was impressive, as the main hall was transformed into a wine haven with grand designs and creative designs and architecture creativity for their stands with origin wines, showcasing the creative design of a tree right in the middle of the convention hall.
I'm the export manager for Van Leeuwen Vineyards. We've got quite a few brands on our portfolio. Our most famous brand is Four Cousins, and that sells extremely well in South Africa and all over Africa, and we're trying to grow it across the world.
We're one of the older production sellers in South Africa. established by a group of families in 1941. So the wines that you see over here are from our reserve range, and they are typically our medal winners. We're also very well known for our Chenin Blanc, which is one of our flagship varietals. So you will see we do an entry-level type of Chenin Blanc, which is this one, and it's one of the biggest retail brands in South Africa, for instance. And then we also have our reserve Chenin Blanc, which we have a wooded as well as an unwooded one, and it's typically the wine that wins a lot of medals, very sought after, small volumes, made in quite a traditional way in the cellar, and grapes are handled in a very modern way.
You don't have to be alone. All you have to do is call. You don't have to be alone.
Premium Reserve Merlot is also one of the best, but definitely the Chardonnay. This is the one that sells the most. The target market is we've been to Russia, we've been to Ghana, we've been to Nigeria, we've been to Milan, a couple of places.
Unique about us? Oh, we're in the Overberg region. We do a fantastic Pinot Noir. I mean, our area is not just known for its Wales, but also for its Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And I think, we make one of the best valued Pinot Noirs in the country.
Now that's a turn on.
The smell is fruity and very inviting.
I'm very well We have certain wines, the styles are more suitable for Europe, and then certain wines which are more suitable for the US. For instance, the Western Cape Sauvignon Blanc is more suited for the US market and the US palate. The European market loves the Coastal Cuvée Sauvignon Blanc. So it all depends on the palate, but our biggest market is Germany at this point. In Switzerland. We do quite a bit in the UK, obviously because of the connection with Graf Diamonds. And then we've just recently entered into the US market about a year and a half ago, so that's something that's growing for us, but I expect that to take off as well because of the connection with Graf. Graf has a strong presence in the US and the UK, so we kind of ride off of that. Yeah. The rosé we're producing in about 35,000 bottles.
Very exclusive.
Yeah, it is pretty exclusive, although we've upped production quite a bit. I started there about 4 years ago. 4 years ago we were sitting at about, I think, 140,000 bottles, and now we're sitting at about 300.
You're so
So this one here is the Weltervrede 1912 wine. In this range we make a Cabernet Sauvignon and a Chardonnay. The reason we created this wine is to honor the people that's been involved in the winery of Weltervrede over more than 100 years. So many times on a wine label you'll see the signature of the winemaker. But I guarantee you it's not only one person that determines the success of the content of the bottle. It's a whole team. So we decided to put everyone that works for Weltervrede is put on the front label.
Absolutely.
So whether you work in the vineyard or in the winery, or whether you cut the flowers in the garden or make the tea in the office, your name is here printed on the front label. So this is the Weltervrede 1912. Then we have another range of wines that we call the terroir-specific wines. Now these wines all have a name that points back to the geology of the vineyard. This one is called Hard Rock Cab. We have the Bedrock Black Syrah and the Place of Rocks Chardonnay. So they all point back to the soil because the soil determines what the grapes will taste like, and what the grapes taste like will determine what the wine tastes like. So these are very small selections of individual vineyards that we bottle separately.
Speaking to ETV Ghana, Mr. Isaac Tete, CEO of TT Brothers Limited, a major wines of South Africa importer, shared his experience conducting business in South Africa over a decade and the competitive value of South African products on the global market.
I always try to bring the best wine into the market, and if the opportunity is there for another good brand which is better than what I'm doing and can be affordable, why not? I do that every 2 years. I try to introduce new brand into the market, so we are here to look for other opportunities, and if it happens, why not? I will introduce it into the market. I'm just there in Ghanaian market for the consumers. Anything that it will be better for them, that they will appreciate it. That's what I'll go in.
On the fun side, the parties during Cape Wine 2015 were epic parties. The endless flow of wines and food was mind-boggling and overwhelming for all guests.
Cape Wine 2015 at this stage is absolutely fantastic. It seems like there's so much more interest than there was in the previous years, and just from our event now tonight was absolutely fantastic. The feedback was marvelous and people love the hospitality, they love the wines, they love the food, they love the culture. So this is really what we should be doing as South Africa's wine industry, and especially for us as Robertson, I think it really worked for us.
Wines of South Africa, with whom this would not have been possible. WOSA decided to make this their closing event and to partner with us. So we're very honoured to have so many WOSA guests from so many different countries. This is a truly Rainbow Nation event and you're all so welcome.
So I think it is very apt that we share this platform with them in terms of saying farewell to you after 3 hectic days and 3 very exciting and energetic days of Cape Wine. I know this is my first at the helm. I have an amazing team that has supported us in terms of bringing and rolling out a world-class event, showcasing what South Africa can do. So thank you to all of you for joining us for Cape Wine, and to our guests, thank you for making it what it is. I think without you and spreading the word out there in terms of telling the story about South African wine and what we can do, we wouldn't be able to be successful. Most importantly, to make a successful event happen, we have to have some partners. And I would like to thank the DHL team for delivering it. And they surely did deliver it.